Right guys, it's 11 AM on Friday. Had a good start to the day, trained 3 clients, very early start. Had a low calorie, high volume meal upon waking. That was a salad that I prepped the day before with some low fat feta, chicken, peppers, red onions, that kind of stuff, and a black coffee. And that's going to see me through the morning. So heading to the gym now. I'm going to train with my client Karl. Going to run through a shoulder and arm session. We're going to sit down and have a meal beforehand. Now, when you're in a large deficit, meal timing becomes very, very important. It's not so important when you're bulking because you've got a good amount of food in all the time, you know, over the course of the day, days before. But when you're in a large deficit, it becomes a lot more important, and we're really trying to peak energy for these training sessions. And that's done by inserting carbs especially into the few hours leading up to a training session. So training will probably be kicking off at about 11:45, 45 minutes before. Going to have a sit down meal, get some carbs in, have a coffee, and that's going to make me feel a hell of a lot better, get rid of that kind of tiredness in the legs and make me feel, you know, ready to hit it. So I'm only on about 120 grams of carbs today, and the majority of that will be eaten now. So I'm going to show you quickly what I've got. So I've got a low calorie roast dinner meal. Now this is a ready-made meal, would never really eat these. I was just in the shop today, I thought, you know, I just fancy a change. I'm just going to go down the flexible dieting route today, and usually my meals are all cooked, they're all fresh, you know, good quality stuff. But the main win of flexible dieting is if that time arises where you do fancy something different, there's no stress. You don't need to stress about it. You just hit the macros and you're good to go. And I still think it's obviously better to eat whole foods and, you know, prepare the food yourself, of course, but it's no big deal for me today to do it this route. So that's what I would say, the joys of flexible dieting over a very rigid kind of set meal plan. Got a protein bar, gonna have that, and some rice cakes, and a coffee. The coffee is 2 teaspoons of coffee with half a teaspoon of coffee mate and about 3 grams of honey, just to give it that little sweetness. And then after that's down, I'll be feeling a hell of a lot better, ready to smash the workout. This is Karl putting some jam on the rice cakes, already weighed out. How much jam you got there, mate?
This is 15 grams of jam.
15 total, yeah?
Total, yeah, so 7.5 for each one.
Nice.
Delicious.
Lovely.
Oh, look at that spread, mate.
Look at that.
The simple things in life on the prep life.
Yeah. Now that is going to taste very tasty. I've got the same but no jam, just rice cakes.
Oh, so sweet. So sweet and delicious.
And I've got a protein bar here. So I've just had my ready meal, very tasty. Got some water and my coffee I've just downed. Coffee's got the creatine in. So yeah, as I said, most of the carbs coming in before the training session. Give us a little bit of a boost before the shoulders and arm workout. So I'm going to look forward to these next treats. And yeah, feel better already, kind of more alive. Feeling good. If you could explain, Karl, like how you feel now compared to Monday, like in a few words.
It's night and day. It's I'm laboured. I feel you're half dead. Concentrations. It's almost impossible to concentrate on anything other than putting one foot in front of the other to move. That's why it's vital to get these types of foods in before you train. The majority of our carbohydrates go in just before we train. It's the biggest bang for buck. And then we'll just deal with what the evening brings when it comes.
That's it, mate. Yeah, evening's a slow old slog. I mean, I've got egg whites later, probably about 100 grams of egg whites, maybe a little bit of vegetables, and that's about it. So It's more important to peak your energy now for training, otherwise the training session sucks. You've lost that opportunity to maintain muscle for another week. We only train once a week per muscle group, so you've got to make it a priority.
You'll see the difference. You'll see the difference in Ross's YouTube on a Monday and mine on a Monday compared to now, where the general vlog is, you know, you can see we're low on energy.
Yeah.
We're just digging through, keep pushing. We've got the goals in mind, so
that's it.
You know, we've got to do what we've got to do to get through it.
That's
and,
it,
those good foods, those good times will come again. It's
Yeah.
not forever, and the goal far outweighs the suffering that we're going through right now.
That's it. Words of motivation there. You enjoying that? Let's get to it. I'll see you in a bit, guys. Okay, so I'm going to leave some commentary now for the training session. Delt and arm, every exercise for the workout. If you're enjoying the video so far, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps out. If you've got any questions, then don't hesitate to ask. Leave them in the comment section. So first movement of the day, the seated shoulder press. We do 4 warm-ups and then 1 working set. 1 working set on all of the exercises, apart from forearms at the end of the workout. So it's a low volume approach. Doesn't need to be high volume. Just got to focus on maximising intensity, attempting to keep the weight as heavy as possible. And we'll do this leading all the way up to the show. So targets between 8 to 12 reps with forced reps. So maybe 2 failure on your own, 6 to 8, maybe a little bit more. I was overall quite happy with this set. I took the weight up by 2.5 or 5k over last week. Just felt my reps were a little bit too high last week, so pump the weight up. Don't really want to be doing more than 12 reps on that first set. So we move on to seated dumbbell raises. Again, 2 warm-ups, then working with 16 kilos. Using a little bit of loose form to keep the dumbbells moving. I'm not overly concerned with keeping this particular movement strict. I just want to lift a decent amount of weight and I want to keep it moving. So again, the same principles, go to positive failure until I feel like I can't really complete a proper rep on my own, and then my training partner Karl will come in and assist me so I can continue the reps and go past the point that I would have to stop at if I were doing it on my own. Then we go for partials, another 5 to finish the set, just to squeeze out every last bit of juice from the side delt possible. Next up, cable side raises, so another side delt exercise. Fairly strict form on this, but again, decent weight, not going too light, making sure that I am failing between 8 to 12 reps. I don't want to lift too light. 1 set to failure, so 2 warm-ups on this, and then going all out, everything you've got. It's a tricky movement for the unaware. You'll find that often the elbow joint will bend a little bit too much and the hand will rise too high in comparison to where the elbow sits. You really want to focus on keeping your little finger side of the hand higher than your thumb side of the hand, and that will just create a bit more tension in the delt. And just try and remain really rigid in the elbow joint and use your delt to do the work. It's not easy. It's an exercise that a lot of people kind of get stuck on actually. With the left arm, it's noticeably weaker, so I try and do an extra rep at the end. So I match the right arm and then I'll add in another rep, and that just satisfies me mentally, knowing that I'm going above and beyond on my weaker side. I think that's sometimes quite important. Even if it does nothing, even if there's no physiological advantage, mentally I'm in a good place when I do that. And that's something I've included in a lot of exercises, especially after 2014 when I had that nerve inflammation that really set me back. My left side was very weak and it took me a long time to be able to train that back up so it was on par with my right side, and I would have to use rest pause, I would have to use additional sets to get that back up to where the right side was. But of course there will always be exercises that you just won't be as strong on your weaker side. Then moving on to the rear delt work, I went really heavy today, heavier than usual, almost kind of like a partial range of motion on the dumbbell bent over raises. It did feel great, felt great on the rear delts, on the traps. I don't think it's going to benefit me being besotted and fanatical about perfect form. I think there are different ways of training. In this session, I felt like I wanted to go heavier. Shoulder section done for this workout. Start off with heavy machine press, then dumbbell side raises, then cable side raises, and then rear dumbbell raises to finish. Just one working set on each of those exercises. Now we're going to move on to the arm section. We're going to start off heavy with straight bar push downs and straight bar curls. We utilise force reps and then partials on some of the movements to get the most out of the set possible rather than stopping at failure. Just helps with prolonging that set, increasing the overall volume. Comes at an expense in terms of recovery, but we're only training one time per week for each muscle, so there's plenty of recovery in between sessions to allow that to happen.
Now moving on to the arm section of the video. First exercise, heavy tricep push downs. Using the belt to essentially weigh me down. I'm much lighter now, so my capacity to lift heavy weights on push down movements has diminished massively. So it's nonsensical to try and expect the same kind of weight on this movement to be able to tax the triceps in the same way if you're weighing less. It's just a simple equation: less body weight, less potential to kind of hold your body weight over the arms as you do the heavy push down, so you need weight to be able to hold you steady. So I've got 20k between the legs. I'm leaning over the bar. I'm using a little bit of momentum at the top to try and keep it moving, and that enables me to get a decent set out, 8 to 12 reps or so. Of course, it goes without saying that there's always a rep target in mind when you approach a set. After 3 warm-ups, we move on to the working set for the main bicep exercise, the strict bar curl. I took the weight up a little bit over last week, so my target was to match the performance of last week or get as close to it as possible, definitely between 8 to 12 reps, which I achieved. Overall, it was a really good set. Biceps are fried on this. And again, this is another movement where I just don't think it's that useful to be completely besotted by perfect form, keeping your torso completely rigid and straight. You can get more out of the set by allowing a little bit of movement at the hips, leaning back a little bit. I mean, you only have to look back at pictures of Arnold Schwarzenegger doing cheek curls, which is leaning back almost so he's horizontal, parallel to the floor with the upper back. It works. They've been a part of my routine for many years, and I'll continue to utilise slightly looser form bicep movements for years to come.
That was hard. Sticky mouth. Job done. Now we move back on the triceps.
And the second tricep movement of the day is the overhead extensions, using this funky bar here with a neutral grip. It does feel very comfortable. Definitely more comfortable on the wrists than the straight bar or easy bar. Easier to execute than the dumbbell overhead extensions as well. So something to bear in mind if your gym has that. Not a huge amount of weight on there, but enough to really stimulate the triceps. Felt great after this set. Full stretch. I like to go as low as possible on the tricep overhead extensions and almost forcefully lock out the movement at the top. And again, when I'm starting to slow down, it's looking like I'm not going to be able to complete the next rep. Karl comes in, pushes me past that sticking point, so he just spots just an inch or two when I would usually get stuck, and it allows me to carry on that set and squeeze out another couple of reps. So the next bicep exercise, one of my favourites, historically done these quite consistently, the dumbbell incline curl. Now I start off with the palms facing upwards and I keep them upwards, so a supinated grip. You'll find that it will get the best contraction on your biceps with this particular style, but it will be difficult. Once you start to reach failure, you can then add a twist to the dumbbells, so you can start from a neutral grip position and finish in a supinated grip, and you'll be able to get maybe 1 to 3 additional reps out at the end of that set. So you start fully supinated, and upon nearing failure, you then start to rotate from a neutral position up to a supinated, and that just helps squeeze more out of the set. Brilliant exercise, one of my favourites. Now the last 2 movements are single arm exercises. We've got the single arm rope push down for triceps. You'll see I've got a little mini plate on the stack, so I'm going a little bit heavier than I did last week. So I was really happy with the performance on this set. Now, these two exercises, this and the preacher curls, are the lighter exercises of the day, but it doesn't mean that they're easy. I'm still trying to hit kind of 8 to 12 reps, and then my training partner, Karl, will come in and prevent me from getting stuck at the sticking point of an exercise. It'll always be the same kind of position that you get stuck on. And if you can just have like an inch worth of assistance, you can get past that and continue the set on. I'm not saying you need to use it all the time, nor can you not build a good physique without it, but if it's not something you use and you switch to doing maybe higher intensity work with a training partner, I think you're going to benefit from it, even if it is short-lived. Obviously, it comes at a cost of extra recovery because you're going a lot further than you would typically be able to do on your own. And I think it's actually very helpful mentally going into a prep, because in my head I'm thinking, well, I'm actually training harder than I was before, so I'm in a good place mentally. And as I said before, sometimes that can benefit you even if it's got no physiological advantages. So we just do the one set on the preacher curl before moving on to forearms to finish. Crucial part of your arm workout, and we use the roll-in device here. Push, pull, push to focus on the extensors and flexors equally. So the week after, we then rotate that, pull, push, pull. So both the top part and the bottom part of your forearm get worked equally, which is really important. That's my current forearm condition. Vascularity is really starting to come in nicely now. Quarter turn to your right. And back. Good. Nice one. Tight. Good. Jam those thighs in. Brilliant.
Nice. Very nice, mate. Good. Awesome. Real lean. Yeah. Incredible. Better and better each time. Yeah, arms are super vascular there. Great striations in the chest. Boom. Legs. There we go. Good. Legs. Yeah. Nice. They are popping a lot more than they were the other day, Monday. Really.
This is my current level of conditioning. You can probably see much because I'm so pale. That's where I am, the leanest I've ever been. Starting to see lines in my glutes now, just where it inserts into the lower back and on the sides. So yeah, really pleased. I'm saying probably another 2 weeks and then I think I'm going to be there. Maybe 3 at a push, and that gives me at least 3 or 4 weeks then to kind of ease off, take my foot off the gas pedal, eat a bit more food, reduce the fatigue, and enjoy that process. So I've had a few low days on a trot now, really starting to dry out. And for me, the fatigue is in the quads. The quads just have nothing. When I'm walking about upstairs, very hard. And kind of my abdomen, like there's just nothing there. In terms of like rigidity. And my rib cage area, it just feels like almost labour to take a deep breath in. But yeah, happy with where I'm at, and I've ensured that I'm in this position early on, and yeah, it's worth it for sure. So I'm going to push another low day tomorrow, give it my best, and then probably refeed, do a double refeed again Sunday, Monday. Yeah, real long day today. I was up at 4:30. It's now 10 o'clock. Going to watch a film. Going to use Shudder. If any of you have seen Shudder before, it's $4.99. It's like Netflix, but without the garbage, without too much of the propaganda and agenda and social justice stuff. I'm kind of stuck in a time warp with the films that I like personally, 70s, 80s, 90s, early noughties. I'm just not keen on a lot of this new stuff. It's just too in your face and too obvious that there's kind of an agenda behind it. Just doesn't do it for me, unfortunately. But yeah, Shudder's really cool. So going to watch a film with the girlfriend. I'll be getting my steps done on my little walking pad. Enjoy that. And then another day tomorrow. I'm going to update you tomorrow as to what's happening with Matt's show on Sunday. Some stuff I want to go over regarding that. So I'll see you in the next clip, guys. Cheers.